Good evening. I'm Josh, and I'm going to go over the 10 steps to conducting a comprehensive performance eval or performance appraisal in sports. I'm kind of going to caveat off of what the video that we watched in class, what it said. And the main thing overall is that you really don't want to show favoritism. You really don't want to show, you don't want to be biased because that could end up being a negative thing in the long run. Say you're a coach and you have someone on your staff that you're really close with, but at the end of the day, they're not really doing their job. They're not really doing the things that they need to do, and that can affect you not only as a coaching staff, but as an organization as a whole. And so at the end of the day, you're going to have to evaluate them and kind of determine what route you want to go as far as if you want to potentially keep them or potentially want to part ways with them. So the main thing overall, and that could go is, if you're a coach, if you're an athletic director, if you're a general manager of a sports team, that's going to go into your evaluations of your head coach as well. So whatever entity you're in and whatever position you hold within that organization, those same rules are pretty much going to apply. So the main thing and the first step that I feel you should do is you should set meaningful goals, because without goals, then where are you going to go as an organization? You have to have a vision. Having a vision is something that's always going to get you where you need to go. You sit down with your coaching staff or your executive, your front office, and you set goals. You have a vision and a mission statement, and that's something that you're going to have to keep tabs of throughout the season, whether it's every few games, every couple of months, in the off season. That's something that you're going to have to keep control of, because once you get away from your goals, it's going to be very difficult to get anywhere as a team or any type of organization. Secondly, you want to manage your goals. And for instance, say you have a head coach and you have particular goals set for that head coach and that coaching staff, and he gets fired in the middle of the season. You bring in a fresh face, new coach, maybe some new coaching staff members. You kind of want to tweak those goals around depending on the type of person or the type of coach, because at the end of the day, they're going to have their different styles of leadership, their styles of coaching, and so that's another thing that you're going to want to take a look at, is you don't want to let the goals get away from you, and at the end of the day, not properly manage them the way that you should, if you're a general manager or any type of athletic director. Thirdly, you want to discuss any type of performance goals during the specific evaluation period. Like I said, if you want to evaluate a coach or a person quarterly, once every season, after every few games, you want to sit down with them and kind of discuss with them what they might be doing right, what are some things they need to work on, because at the end of the day, that's going to be something that they're going to take, and that's going to help them grow as a leader and as a coach and as a representative for that organization. Fourthly, you want to be honest. You don't want to just sugarcoat it. Don't sugarcoat anything. You always want to be honest, no matter how close you are with that person. You always want to be upfront and let them know, hey, you might not be doing something that you feel is right for the organization. If it's something that's causing maybe negative press, negative publicity, you definitely want to set them aside and let them know, like, hey, this is something that you don't need to do. Go ahead and fix your actions. Otherwise, at the end of the season, there might be consequences, and maybe even before the season's over with. So it just depends on what it is that they're doing wrong or they might be doing right at the end of the day. Fifthly, you don't want to be too vague. Whenever you're evaluating someone, you don't want to sit them down and you don't want to tell them, hey, we need you to do better. And they're left wondering, okay, we'll do better at what? So you want to be as detailed as possible and give them scenarios and give them, times and instances on things that they did wrong. That way they can tweak those one or two things versus being completely vague and leaving them in the dark on anything that they might be doing. Sixthly, you want to clarify the type of improvement. The kind of caveats off the fifth one, as far as being vague, you really want to let them know, like, hey, I need you to do this and this by this date. You really want to clarify any type of things that they need to work on. They might need to tweak. If they're doing everything, not everyone's going to do everything right all the time. That's just not going to happen. There's always going to be, minor adjustments or things that need to be tweaked a little bit to ensure the organization still runs as smoothly as possible. So always clarifying that is definitely something that you need to for sure make happen. Number 7 is you want to take the process seriously. If you're up for evaluating a coworker or a coach or even another member in the executive front office, you really want to take it seriously, because at the end of the day, it's their job, it's their lifeline that's on the line. This could be an evaluation for a promotion, or if they're getting a bonus, or if their contract's getting renewed. At the end of the day, you're not thinking about just them, you're thinking about their family, because if they have, wife, kids, things of that nature, then your actions could potentially, say they get let go. That doesn't affect just him, that affects, his whole family. And so you want to take it as seriously as possible, and that's something that, has to happen, like I said, every day in every entity, no matter what organization you're in. You always want to take it seriously, because that's something that they could, work on, and not only from a monetary standpoint, it's going to help them be a better person. It's going to help them be a better leader, and that's something that you definitely want to look into and keep track of throughout the season. Number 8 is be consistent, and that's the thing that I talked about, in the beginning was you don't want to play favorites. You don't want to be biased. You don't want to take someone in the office and say, oh, okay, well, they're a really, really bad person. They bring negative vibes to the workplace. But at the end of the day, their numbers are good, so I'm just going to go ahead and give them a good score just because I like them, and we drink outside the office. That's really not something that you want to do, because that's going to cause favoritism, and others are going to see that in the organization, and then they might not work for you at the end of the day. You're going to lose credibility as a leader, and credibility as a person that makes those types of decisions. So definitely don't play favorites. That's something that you definitely can't do. Number 9, you don't want to give inaccurate ratings, pretty much like gaming the system. And that's something that pretty much, like I talked about, you don't want to give them a 10 when they're working and performing at a 6, because at the end of the day, that's something that they're going to take and they're going to run with. Okay, well, I'm not really doing a good job. I'm working hard, but I'm kind of struggling, but I still get a 10. So there might be a little lax, moving